I'm just Nick, and this is the Frye Model One guitar. All the guitar parts on the demo you just heard were played with this guitar. I'd like to talk briefly about its construction and pecs before I tell you why I particularly love this new design. The guitar's body is quarter sawn, I can barely say it, quarter sawn Sitka Spruce. This is an uncommon choice, or a novel choice, for tone wood for a solid body guitar, but it is a brilliant choice in this case. The choice of tone wood combined with the size and shape of the body, it's a pretty large profile body, an 1 3/4 thick, yield a guitar that has a really resonant, airy quality to it, but still is solid in the bass and mids. So it is both, you know, expressive, open, and can rock. Okay, good choice. It's also only 6 to 7 pounds in weight. It's really comfortable, and the design, which I'll talk more about in a minute, is very comfortable whether you're sitting or standing. So it's a really good size. The neck is Honduran Mahogany. The fretboard is Honduran Rosewood. The tuners are vintage style Cloisons with the cool black buttons. And the finish is a environmentally safe waterborne lacquer. It's thin and yet I think fairly durable, but not in that kind of poly way. You can see the grain of the spruce through it. It's just beautiful. The pickup is important. Pickups are always important. This one is made with Alnico 5 magnets. It's designed and wound by Ben Frye, the guy who built the guitar. Mismatched coils. I think he said about 7K resistance. That by itself doesn't tell you that much, but basically it's a low to medium kind of output humbucker. But here's what's unique and important about it. Unlike most humbucking pickups, it is not wax potted. You often will find that humbucker pickups have been dipped in wax to reduce the amount of internal vibration that can happen when playing at very high volumes and very high gain settings. The reason you want to do that is because those internal vibrations can cause squealing and feedback. This is not a potted pickup, so it might be slightly more prone to such squealing at very extreme volume and gain settings. I haven't had any problem with it, even pretty loud, okay? But what you might give up in squeal protection, and who really wants squeal protection, you gain back in articulateness, in a kind of clarity and detail that you don't often associate with a humbucking pickup. And that brings me to my next point, which is what makes this guitar special, in my opinion, is that it is extremely articulate. And because it's extremely articulate, because it can make many different sounds and make them in very specific ways, it is very expressive. For a guitar that has a humbucker, that to me is a bit of a revelation, because I'm a telly player. And even when I play guitars with humbuckers, and I own a couple, much as I like the fact that they can really rock or they can make kind of fat jazz type sounds, I always miss the kind of detail that a really good single coil offers you and the expressiveness that goes along with that. Don't miss it with this guitar. And I think that it's not just the pickup, but the combination of the design, the choice of materials, and the electronics. Let's talk about just how expressive and versatile this guitar is. Listen to this humbucker that you heard both clean and distorted on the demo. When you pick softly, it has a kind of bell-like, chimey quality to it. Almost like a neck single coil pickup. When you start to dig in, it compresses just a tiny bit and the mid-range starts to jump out. Love that. To add add to the versatility of this very expressive and dynamic pickup, we have some really well implemented tone and volume controls. The volume knob rolls off in a nice kind of gradual and linear sort of way. I shouldn't say linear because for all I know it's an audio taper pod. I don't know the difference, but the taper is very musical. And it doesn't really darken up too much as you roll it off, but it doesn't get thin and weird like it sometimes does with some people's treble bypass setups. I don't really know what's inside the control cavity. I don't care because it works. And the taper's great. If you're somebody who is used to Telecaster volume knob and likes to do your volume swells, this thing is great for volumes. You don't need to hear more of that from me. I do that way too much as it is. Much versatility to be added. Look, 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 look. Plug it into some distortion. Clean it up just beautifully. Still have plenty of clarity and high end. And spank, bring it up. See that? And I know you're getting a little bit of string noise in the voiceover mic, but trust me, a lot of that attack and high-end detail is there, and there's nothing clinical or harsh about it. It's just good. It's just good. The other thing about this volume control is it does, as you roll back, you tend to go from, you know, the kind of spank and nasty that you associate with... Oh, see, now I'm clipping. Let me turn that down a little bit. There you go. That you associate with a kind of bridge pickup configuration, okay? And as you roll it back, you start to get sounds you associate more with a neck pickup on a Telecaster or a Humbucker equipped guitar. It starts to kind of get a little bit less mid-rangey. So this volume control adds much more versatility than you would think a volume control could. Let's look at the tone control, which adds similar range. You not only have that range from kind of more bell-like to more edgy that you get with your picking, but you can also roll back this volume knob just a little bit and get more emphasis of the kind of roundness and bell tones without it getting muddy at all. I think you could play jazz on it. I think you could. You could certainly play soul and R&B all day on it without it sounding like you were, you know, on the bridge pickup of, you know, like a Les Paul Jr. or Esquire or something. It just has a lot of range to it. And finally, I want to particularly note that for a humbucker, it's able to maintain a lot of on the low end, but still hold together. Just awesome. So what else can I tell you? The guy who built it is a really cool guy. Built and designed it. Ben Frye is the luthier here at Rock and Roll Vintage in Chicago. Takes care of all my guitars. Takes care of a whole lot of other people's guitars. Knows what he's doing. kind of a low-key guy in my experience. Maybe there's some whole other side to him I don't know about, but unless you talk to him a little bit, you might not realize right off the bat just what a knowledgeable and inventive guy he is. Among other things, he's a musician, but he also has an interest in industrial design and engineering. And all of that kind of shows both in the design that he originated here and sort of, the concepts that he incorporated into it. For instance, like all really brilliant designers, he kind of put this together as sort of an evolution of previous designs. It's definitely an original look and feel and function, but it's based on a kind of incremental approach to taking previously proven design and incorporating it in new ways. For instance, the neck joint is the time-tested Gibson mortise and tenon neck joint. No need to reinvent the wheel. The shape, did I already mention this? Based on a late 50s Epiphone coronet that Ben really, really likes, which I believe belongs to the owner of Rock and Roll Vintage Heath, one of the owners. What else can I tell you? The dude knows what he's doing, and he built an awesome guitar. And at well under 2,000, better snap this motherfucker up. Until next time.